Sometimes the simplest dish are the hardest one to make, like the fried rice. The best bowl of shrimp fried rice will have crispy and tender shrimp, great color, and a tasty rice. I'm going to show you how to make the best bowl of fried shrimp rice, but not necessarily the fastest one. Let's start with the ingredients. Shrimp is a common ingredient for many dishes. There are a few tricks that will get you great shrimp every time, which I will show you later. And for the fried rice, it's best to use long grain rice for better texture. I didn't have it on hand, so I used the short grain instead. If you use short grain rice, it's best to make it and leave it overnight in the fridge. This way, it will improve the texture and make it less mushy. Other than rice and shrimp, you can add different other ingredients for taste and color. Here, I'm going to use onion, green onion, and ginger, plus 2 eggs to make an egg fried rice variety. Finally, some green pea for color and a sesame or sesame oil for taste. Now let's go through the sauces. We will need some high flash point cooking oil like grapeseed, canola, or rice oil. For salt, I prefer to use sea salt, which contains more minerals and less salty. If you use regular salt, it will be more salty than mine. You can experiment yourself and find the right portions for your taste. We will also need some alcohol to help cook the shrimp. Asian dishes typically use rice wine. Starch is used to marinate the shrimp. I prefer to use potato starch, but cornstarch works as well. I also like to add some tomato sauce to go with the shrimp. If you are making simple fried rice without the shrimp, I will add some soy sauce to add some flavor. Let's start with preparing the shrimp, and I'm going to show you a few tricks to make the shrimp crispy, tender, and flavorful. These tricks can be used for any kind of shrimp dish, not just for this dish. The first trick is to make some ginger water. It will reduce the fishy taste and improve the flavor. The second trick is to making sure to devein the shrimp. You start by slicing through the back part of the shrimp and butterflying it. If the shrimp is large like mine, you will do a deeper butterflying and it will help to cook evenly. If the shrimp is small, you can just slice open the top and remove the vein. If you got the frozen shrimp, you can defrost it inside the refrigerator overnight. Now, the third trick is to give the shrimp a salt rinse. Rubbing some salt on the shrimp for a few seconds, and rinse it with some water for a few more seconds to remove the leftover vein and the stinky substance. Then immediately squeeze out the excess water out, and place the shrimp in a bowl with paper towel to absorb as much water as you can. So the fourth trick is to remove as much as water as you can, as I have done here. This will help the crispier texture. The fifth and the final trick is to marinate the shrimp and then refrigerate it. Adding about 2 teaspoons of ginger water we prepared earlier, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and a 1/4 egg white beaten until it is frothing. Mix them evenly after adding each ingredient. Finally, adding 1/2 teaspoon of starch and mix evenly again. Very importantly, refrigerate it for at least 2 hours. This will let the flavor sink in as well as reinforcing the crispy texture. You can actually prepare a few portions at one time and store the rest in the freezer to use it later. As for the rest of the ingredients, chop them into small pieces. Frozen peas are great and you can use it as it is. For the eggs, 1/4 of the egg white was used to marinate the shrimp. For the rest of the egg, you will add a touch of salt and 1/2 teaspoon of the oil to finishing the preparations. Now let's stir fry. Turn the heat to medium-high and add in the oil. You will need quite a bit of oil here, but this is all the oil you will need for the entire meal, enough for 4 servings. Then adding the refrigerated shrimp and cook one side for about 1 minute before flipping. If you are using small shrimp, you can just start to stir fry. After flipping, you will cook the other side for about half a minute, then stir fry for half a minute, then remove it from the heat. There will be plenty of oil left in the pan to scramble the eggs. It is important to keep stirring while adding the egg. Continue to stir until the egg coagulates and no longer running. The constant stirring and not let the egg to get brown is a key for a light and a fluffy egg. Now, the leftover oil should be enough to stir fry the onion. Stir fry the onion until it's transparent, then remove it from the pan. Finally, let's stir fry the rice. I prefer to be healthier and use less oil, so I'm going to show you a method to avoid adding too much oil. Also, when I stir fry, I like to add in the ingredients one by one to get the best results, since each type of ingredients cook at a different speed. Start by draining the oil from the stir-fry eggs and the shrimp to avoid adding more oil. And continuously loosen and stir-fry the rice for about 5 minutes. Second step is to add in some salt. The third step is to poke a hole in the middle, then add in the ginger water, the green onion, the fried egg, then mix them well. The fourth step is to add in the tomato sauce, rice wine, and the shrimp to mix them well. The fifth and the last step is to add in the peas, the green onion, and give it a final mix, then you are done. This is a very comforting and satisfying dish, and I hope you will try and enjoy it. And the shrimp tastes so good, and you can make a few portions at once and leave them in the freezer.